Ah, good morning once again. Is it morning? No, it is afternoon. Yes, it is normal for Forex trader. Good afternoon, everyone. So that's how we've been doing everything. We are going to still do everything as how we always do it. So, last time we created a poll in a group. The poll was on which pair to focus on this week, and most people suggested the GBPUSD. Almost people really requested the GBPUSD, almost at a 17%. The others requested GBPJPY, and finally, the pair which had a lot of requests was gold. People like trading gold. And gold is simple. So we are here to create that. We are here to analyze that. Checking on the group luminary charts. So today we are going to analyze the GBPUSD. We are going to analyze GBPJPY, and also we are going to analyze gold. Yes, people rejected the Nasdaq, rejected USD, CAD, USD CAD, and the USD JPY. So this is what we are going to be focusing on today. We are going to see what we did on GBP USD last week, together with anticipation of what we are going to do this week. We're going to do the same thing on GBP JPY, but also the same thing on gold. On gold, I had already recorded a video, but Zoom could not convert it. I don't know why, but it's just couldn't be converted anymore. So I think I have to do it again, and yeah, the again is now. Okay. So getting back to the charts, most people know the concepts, but they don't know where to apply the concepts. Because we all speak of the FVG, it's the same thing. We all speak of liquidity engineering, it's the same thing. We all speak of liquidation of process, it's also the same thing. But the difference is, how do you apply the concepts? How do you apply those concepts in your trading style? Wait. Now, focusing on GBP USD, at luminary stacks, we are day traders. We swing only unless necessary. Okay? So we look for daily setups and swings only when it is mandatory. Okay. So analyzing the market, firstly, you have to know what do you have in your mind. How much concepts do you have in your mind when you do something in the market? Because don't just go to the market and buy or sell. You have to look for the confluences that you have. You must have a discipline order that you respect and follow in order for you to create something. Um, you must have your own risk management system because I trade with $1,000 account a minimum. It is not like everyone else because the ratios are less than that. The risk management is a little bit tricky and the risk management is a little bit different. So you have to focus on who you are. You have to focus on what you know in the market. How do you approach the market? Despite all those factors, there are factors that stay the same. No matter what strategy you have, you're still going to be trading GBPUSD, which has given us a bearish candle, which has given you the same thing, a bearish candle. So there is a way to which the market constantly moves, and everyone has to follow. It is not must, but you have to follow. Okay, let us deep dive into it. Okay, so looking at GBPUSD, I'm focusing on candlestick presentation because if I look at the market structures, had a break of structure at this point, which was holding the market, and we were expecting for the market to come and break above this level for the second time, but the market never did so. Okay, so if the market never did so, what are we to expect? Expect a movement. Now, keeping the long story short on intraday trades, I just focus on the weekly. I just focus on a weekly basis, then see the liquidation process that happened inside there during the daily moves. And looking at the weekly liquidation process for the first week, I had this long week rejection, which tells me that there's obviously something left behind. How do I get to that something? Okay. Since I've already chosen weekly time frame as my constant time frame, it means in order for me to come back and access the areas the left inside there to trade, left inside this area to trade, means that I have to follow a specific procedure for me to access clean moves. Okay, so under the clean procedure that I have to follow the time frame coordination, which weekly is my constant, meaning that in order for me to come and tap the first level troubled area, I call it the FTA, meaning that for me to come and tap at the troubled area, I have to look at the liquidation process from the 4 hours time frame. Why the 4 hours time frame? Because it is the situation for the weekly. Okay, now, looking at the 4 hours time frame, I already have this candlestick anatomy that was presented to me on a bullish momentum. And based on the presentation, it tells me that each and everything that I'm going to be looking for is already inside. So why am I focusing this point? Yeah, because it is very, very easy. We are at the start of a trend. We are at the start of a trend, and the start of a trend, we have got a partial pin bar. And once the pin bar appears at the starting of a trend, we are to expect a thrust move towards the break of the anatomy. So if you come and take a closer look, you'll notice that had an indecisive candle which closed as a bearish. After getting an indecisive candle which closed as the bearish, we had a very strong thrust move that pushed upwards, going to break the 1 hour structures above. Now, in order for me to come and take this consideration, I have to go to the daily time frame and see the daily targets, because the daily targets are going to act as my troubled area. And based on the looks, I can see that based on the daily targets, my troubled area is going to be at this point here. Why this point? Because I already have the 4 hour liquidation process that has already told me it is going to test the daily levels. So that is what I'm expecting on a GBP USD. But looking at what has been presented here, because this is a daily level, looking at what has been presented here, because this is a daily level, we can see that we had a weak rejections, whether this point here, weak overlap. So what I'm going to be considering is, if the market at this level gives me changes to the bearish, I'm going to be focusing on a bearish momentum. But apologies, a bit of a flu out here. So in case the market comes and gives us the changes at this point, we are going to be expecting long sales. Less otherwise, we are going to be expecting a continuation of a bullish momentum. Now, if you take a closer look also, you'll notice that as for the day today, which is Tuesday, we were expecting for market changes from this point in order to come and test these levels here. Lakini, when we come to the 1 hour time frame, we see that we have an indecisive candle that was supported by a thrust candle, meaning that we had a very strong move that was a bearish confirmed momentum. And based on this structure here, what do we see? We see this on a structure that has happened on a 1 hour time frame, meaning that 1 hour is our constant time frame, meaning that our situational time frame is going to be a 15 minutes, whereby if you come to the 15 minutes, we already have this level here that has been left as the untested area of liquidity. And where's our next target? We were focusing on our next target below the 4 hours time frame. And if you take a closer look before the 4 hours time frame, this was the area that had held the price on a 4 hours basis. Now, if you come and take a closer look on the 1 hour, you will notice that this move was a very clean move for today, Tuesday. Miss it because we are already in a session. Small risk, 5 pips by 32 pips. So with the standard loss, you're risking $50, winning 300. Quite a good risk. Okay, but then Sasa, if you take a closer look, we are still expecting for the market to come down here. But if you get good changes that are going to comply with our bias right from this point where we are, we're going to focus with the buys again. Because as day traders, we trade level to level trading. The market had already given us sell probability up to this point here, which was 30 pips. We already took it. Now, if the market gives us another probability of a bullish momentum, meaning that we are not going to be considering this point out here as an area to expect changes on a bearish momentum, but I'm going to consider this point here as my taking profit at first, because I'll be sure that the market is coming to sweep. I'll be sure for the market coming to sweep. Okay, so based on what we already have there on a weekly, on a daily anticipation, what I'm anticipating is for GBPUSD to come and test this level here. What I'm only left with is observing the liquidation process up to Friday, which we are together with everyone. So we're going to be looking into it. And I'm expecting to get clear buys right after the market has broken this level. So after the market has broken that level, I'm going to be expecting for the sweep and come back and tap at this level. After I get a tap at that level, I'm going to be expecting to see if there's going to be changes from this point here. Then I'm going to wait for the changes, because the only area left behind that will have been untested is going to be this level. And looking at the 4 hours time frame, it means that the 4 hours time frame are going to push us to the weekly. So up to this moment, I'm pretty much sure that we're going to sweep this level above here. What is left is just observing the liquidation process of the daily in order to confirm or validate the 4 hour structure and all that. So this is what I'm looking at GBPUSD. One of the factors that is giving me that strength, the confidence of holding up that point up there, is because we already have tapped this level here, which is area of liquidity by that level because had a formation, we had achieved at this point. Because that shift at that point, we had all these formations, and this was the only untested area of liquidity. And after the blah blah of the market for several days, finally we've hit that point. And the greatest thing that gives me confidence about holding that point is that we have a we have an indecisive candle with a thrust candle, which together make a pin bar, giving me a confirmation and a confluence of holding the market up to the break of the market. So let us continue observing what is in here. As we still observe what is inside here, let us take a clear picture, a good look of what really happened today, because last week, because we've been trading GBPUSD for the past week, for the past three weeks consistently. Same with gold, same with BTC USD. So let us get into a dive look of what really happened last week. Okay, and this is going to be one of the sessions that is going to explain how you can backtest the trading view. If you have issues, you don't know how to backtest, I'll be here to help for free. If you don't know how to backtest, that is where we'll start discussing furthermore. Now, let us look at weekly. Now, looking at the weekly time frame, this is the presentation that we had on the previous week. Okay. The week before that, that had printed us something that we were focusing on the week before that. So this is 2 weeks before. today. Now, if you look at the weekly time frame, you'll notice that as day traders, we focus on the current market price because that is where everything is. Don't know what you're doing, focusing on the past data. Okay, so looking at the weekly time frame on the previous week, we can see this is the presentation that we had. And based on this presentation, we can see that the market did not really close in its reality. When I say the market closing in its reality, I mean that we normally know that the opening price, the closing price differ. This is the normal candlestick presentation that we are to expect, a healthy candlestick presentation. Okay, but once this presentation changes into something else, it means that there's already an abnormality in the market, and that abnormality is what we are looking for. Okay, if you take long week rejection, like why would they give me a long week rejection if they did not make any business inside there? So it's just some simple logical concepts that need manipulation, understanding. So it is a concept that needs manipulation, understanding in order for you to make a real trade, to make something perfect, to make something worthy out of your trade in order to become a profitable trader. Okay, because becoming a profitable trader is not about withdrawing. And for it to run your life. So this is the healthy candlestick presentation that we're expecting. But once we don't get this healthy presentation and get something otherwise, it means that something not normal happened. And if you take a closer look at the candlestick presentation that we had in the previous week before we gave up the buys and sell signals, you'll notice that we have a long week rejection at the bullish, long week rejection at the bearish. But the market closed as a bullish, meaning that there's a higher probability for the market to open, give us reversal footprint, and come test levels down here, then give us reversal footprint going up because the market is on a bias bullish. So each and every thing you make, each and every step you take in the market, hakikisha unaona mabadiliko. Don't go random. Usiende kichwa kichwa, watakutandika na utabaki bila majibu. So by the moment you go and attack the market without logic, without concepts, you're obviously going to hit your stop losses. That is when you start calling people blah blah blah, scamming you. Now, getting back to the daily, because we already have, getting back to the 4 hours, because we already have the weekly liquidational process, the weekly candlestick anatomy, and now we are focusing on the 4 hours candlestick liquidation process in order for us to get the basics to understand where are we going currently. And if you look at the 4 hours time frame, you'll notice that the only thing that was very, very good and very, very much valid for us was a bullish momentum that was taken from this point up to this point up here on the previous week. Now, coming to the 1 hour, you'll notice that we had a change of market structure. After getting the change of market structure, we do not have any kind of formation, only long week rejection that had already been tapped. Now, looking at the bullish momentum, there's nothing in particular pushing us for a long bullish, but coming on a bearish again, you notice that we have a level of support and resistance. The market gave us a rejection. After giving us a rejection on a 1 hour time frame, meaning that we're already sure this market is coming to test the 4 hours time frame. But before we come to test the 4 hours time frame on a bearish, let us validate whatever we're looking at in the 4 hours. Now, I'm going to consider this sell very, very strong. Why? Because I already have balance of liquidities in candlesticks. What is that? First, I already have the leading wick, last bullish candle before bearish, or last bearish candle before bullish. Had this leading wick that was assisted by a thrush candle, meaning that each and everything that was left for the market, which bearish, was inside here. Now that the market has already given me this balance of liquidity here, I'm pretty much